to go freshen up, man. I had to go make sure I got the Jets cap.
Nice. Right, so like once again, thanks for coming on. We've got about 365 Jets fans in the UK in the group. There's so many more we're trying to get in, and players like yourself doing something like this is like helping us massively. And the fact that it is the true legend that is you, it's pretty epic. This is our first one. So
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we put out the other day. We put out some teasers, a couple of like half snippets of your arm, some of your jersey to see if people could guess who we were going to have a chat with. And one of the girls got it in the group like after about 20 minutes with no hint.
Okay.
So everybody kind of sent over a load of questions. They sent over. So I'll let some of the guys. So we've got Kane in the top corner. We've got Otis and Armand.
Yep.
We're admins of the group and like the founders of kind of where we're going. So yeah, we'll get a few questions and then we'll just see where it goes.
Yep. All right, let's get this party started, baby. Definitely, man.
First. Go on, Otis.
One of the first questions that we got was, what wide receiver do you see being the best fit for the New York Jets in the upcoming draft?
Ooh, wow. Give me a list of guys. Who do we have? I mean, as far as first rounders, we're gonna go with maybe a quarterback, maybe an offensive lineman. First round. I don't know.
Do you think there's actually a chance we go offensive lineman at 2 with just having draft?
You can never go wrong with an offensive lineman protecting your quarterback, giving your running back a chance to run the ball up and down the football field. Yeah. You can never go wrong with protection. That's one thing I've always learned about football is you can never go wrong with enough protection.
I think that's just life.
All right, that was a good one.
You set them up and I'll knock them down.
Wide receiver. Man, I wish I would have had my computer up right now to take a look at a couple of the guys that's being drafted. Do
you think Smith is worth consideration from Alabama at 2?
It will be a really big leap for the New York Jets to feature a wide receiver as their top pick. I mean, we've seen it happen years ago with Keyshawn Johnson. The numbers, tell a lot of the story. And if you can get your first round draft picks or your best top players, the football, you're going to be very productive. So he definitely needs to go somewhere where they're going to utilize his athleticism and have someone that's actually going to match his ability, to throw the football as far as he can run.
Okay. Cool. Shall I ask the second one? What was your favorite touchdown you scored for the New York Jets?
What?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
What? Hey,
had to check.
By far, to see myself, or not even to see myself, but to feel myself land in bounds with just a toe and a knee in the back corner of the end zone, to cap off something like the Super Bowl catch. I think this is probably one of those catches that's sitting next to that Super Bowl catch that allowed me to be in the right position. Quarterback placed the ball, in a great place. I don't think the defender, he never even looked up until he really seen me put my hands up and make the catch. Sanchez, was one hell of a quarterback, and I can't say anything about him. Many people talk about him, but hey, when I first got with the New York Jets, he took me in, he cared for me. We studied together. We traveled together. We partied together. We got along really well, in our 4 years that we played in New York. So that catch right there, by far, one of the best touchdown catches that I caught in the Jet uniform.
So you did mention it, right? And we were having a little chat before you came on, and Otis had a question about the Super Bowl catch.
So obviously, Big Ben in the huddle with the rest of you guys on offense. Does he tell you the ball's coming to you on that play? Did you know that it was beat the guy and the ball was yours, or was it just a pure read, or did he know it was you and you were the guy?
I honestly think he knew what he was doing with the football. When he came inside the huddle and he looked at me because I have dropped the pass before, it was one of those looks that this is the Super Bowl. You do know we just threw you a touchdown and you dropped it, right? And it was one of those looks that, hey, I don't know if I could trust you right now, but just be ready. And when he gave our play call, oh, man, I got excited. I got super excited because in order for us to score a touchdown, he had to throw the ball to me.
Yeah.
The running back came out in the flats. He probably got to the end zone, maybe get tackled, a yard or two short. You got Hines Ward stopping 3 yards in front of the end zone. You throw him the football, I'm guaranteeing that he'll probably back his way into the end zone and score a touchdown. But for the pressure that Big Ben was under, the fact that we had ran this play numerous amount of times in practice, and Coach Bruce Arians, who is now the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, made that final call. And he knew that final call was the play that the Arizona Cardinals was not expecting during that particular time. And when we made that call, man, I got so excited. I'm putting my mouthpiece in. I'm licking my chops, but I'm actually looking in the back corner of the end zone to see how much line I got to before I get out of bounds. How many steps is it going to take me to get from here to there? I was calculating all these things, just hoping that if he called a play, I'm going to be ready. When he called the play, the rest was history with me standing in the back of the end zone, knowing that I could not jump. I couldn't move. I couldn't reach any further for the football, that it was thrown in a great place for me to make that catch.
So cool.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
So when you started playing, when you first came in, obviously you were the #1 wide receiver picked. You went to the Steelers, but at that point, before you were actually picked, were there any players that you really admired and looked up to and thought, I need to play with that guy? Because you hear it now that every player's got that one they look up to.
Oh, absolutely. Mine was definitely Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice and Marvin Harrison. Jerry Rice being 6'2", 6'3", Marvin Harrison being 5'10", 5'11", kind of fit my stature more. But as my favorite wide receiver growing up was definitely Jerry Rice. But in 1995, I became a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So as my childhood grew, I was more and more of a Steelers fan. And then I get an opportunity to get drafted in 2006 to play alongside a soon-to-be Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl MVP in Hines Ward. He gave me all the essential tools I needed to be successful. And actually it showed, in how I performed when it came down to the Super Bowl performance. And Hines Ward was he's a New York Jets receivers coach. So, what can I say? I think, being alongside him gave me an opportunity to definitely learn the game and just have a lot of respect for the way the game is being taught by the veterans that played before us.
Wicked. See, we hoped you were going to say Hines Ward. It's one of them. I wish we'd made bets.
Absolutely. That was my guy.
So a question about the Jets and one of the best players alongside yourself at the time when you were with the team. What was it like lining up against Revis in practice every day? And did he push you to be greater than you already were when you joined the team?
We fought every day. We fought every day. When I got up to the line of scrimmage to run regular offensive plays, or if we were doing one-on-ones, hey, Reed, let's go, line up. It was not me calling him out, but just like you alluded to, I wanted to be great. And I wanted to show my teammates that I wanted to be great and that I was great, that I could play with the best and that I could compete and I could beat the best. So every day when me and Revis went up, it was a good 50-50 battle majority of the time. He played really tough against me every day. He made me work my tail off. I think learning a lot from Revis and watching him play and practice every day, seeing the things that he was doing, it gave me an understanding on how I could just demolish any of the other cornerbacks that I went up against, because I'm playing against a future Hall of Famer and, one of the greats during our decade. So Revis and what he did, and what he meant to the New York Jets, I studied a lot of him. I heard a lot about him coming out of Pitt when I was a Steeler. So I knew who Darrelle Revis was. I saw him at practice almost every day for a year before he got drafted. So to know that he has left a legacy with the New York Jets as Revis Island, I tip my hat to him, man, as one of the greats.
Awesome.
Nice.
One of our members asked, I'm just going to find his name.
You got it?
Brad Pierce asked, what was Rex like in person, and did he play up for the cameras, and what was he like as a coach?
You said his name was Brad?
Yeah, Brad, yeah.
Yeah, Brad. Coach Sexy Rexy is what we called him. He was definitely our guy, man. He welcomed me with open arms. The first day I got traded to the Jets, he made the phone call, told me how super excited and happy he was, allowed me to come in and visit, meet his family, meet his kids, meet his wife. They were very accepting of me coming to be with the Jets, and he was a very, very, very classy guy. Yep. But he had a really bad attitude, and that was a great thing for us as players, because we needed a coach that was going to fight with us and going to stand up with us. Yeah, all of the foolishness that they made of Coach Ryan with the New York media, calling him a clown and saying he's this and he's that. He did win the Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. He did go to 2 AFC Championship games with the New York Jets, excuse me. And to get the kind of coverage that he had got, because he always spoke his mind, we as players fed off of that. We loved everything about Coach Ryan and how his attitude carried us to playing in those championship games. He's going to be a Jet legend. He was the one that taught me, always play like a Jet. And once a Jet, always a Jet. So thanks, Coach, for picking me up and believing in me and allowing me to help the Jets win ball games.
Nice.
So obviously Rex was quite impactful. Have you ever thought about going into coaching? Because every time I see highlight reels, it's always you hyping up on the touchlines. It's talking to every single player. Didn't matter what side of the ball they were on. You were in their face hyping them up. Has coaching ever been on the cards?
Oh man, I would. I think I would definitely take on the challenge of being a coach. Being a specific coach takes a lot of courage, because you have now one group of guys to focus on. Being a head coach take a lot of big kahunas, if I may speak, because now you get an opportunity to impact more than just one person's life. And my demeanor on the football field as a teammate was to always just look at one of my teammates, to always give him that extra edge, to go out and just motivate him so that he could do his job and perform. Because without him doing his job, my job is going to be very hard. So if I could get any of my teammates to take some of the spotlight and make big plays and get talked about in the media, that does wonders for me as a player, because now I understand that every one of my teammates deservingly deserve to be a part of this organization and the attitude that they have and what they bring to the table. So if I could be a head coach, I would definitely take on, teaching some young high school kids the game and just preparing them for life and just, helping them out as much as I can.
It's epic.
I think you'd be good at it.
We need to see that.
Earlier we mentioned Smith potentially from Alabama at 2, and you obviously mentioned the quarterback throwing in the ball. And it's such a huge part of the game nowadays, with throwing the ball more than ever. New coach, new offensive scheme again, likely this year. Who do you think will be lining up under center for the Jets this year, and who do you think would be best? Would it be best using that number 2 pick on somebody, or are you still a Sam Darnold fan?
I honestly think when you draft a player as an organization, your goal is to build around the player that you see fit best for your franchise. We all talk about defense win championships because that's their job, to hold the other team to no points or less than the points that we're able to score. But when you talk about putting the face of the guy on offense, you have to understand what his life was like as a young quarterback in high school, middle school. You have to understand the kind of relationships that he built with his receivers or his teammates in college. And you have to go out and find those exact same players to mirror exactly who this individual is and what he's capable of doing. So what Sam Darnold was able to do in his first 3 years with the Jets, obviously he'd been hurt for almost a whole season, but I think you've given him the reins to be the starting quarterback. You've drafted 2 quarterbacks from USC, and it's obvious that the New York Jets have some kind of relationship with USC, that they trust and believe the quarterbacks that are coming out of that program. And if you do continue to trust those players, build around them, give them an opportunity to grow. This league is not built for 3 years for a quarterback to come in and take over. Not every quarterback is going to have that kind of success in their first chances in the NFL. Being in that New York Jet uniform takes a lot of pressure to hold up when it comes to being the world's talked about team in the media every day. So to the New York Jets, give Sam a chance. Give him a chance, build around him, and then go from there. But if you use that draft pick on another quarterback, it just shows that this is what your system is built on, spending money on quarterbacks and letting them go to waste. And I don't want to see that happen to any of my New York Jet former colleagues.
That's a great answer. There's a lot of us in the group that are still very much of the belief that Sam can keep going. There's a few that are thinking maybe it's time to look at someone like Wilson, maybe in the draft. But it's interesting to hear a former player talk about the time that the quarterbacks need, especially with how young Sam is. Like, he's still the second youngest quarterback in the league. Only Kyler Murray's younger, and there's been 3 drafts now since he's been out. I think it's definitely still time for him.
Yeah, give him time. Let him grow. Let him have fun in the league, man. You got to let these guys make mistakes. And I think that's one of the things that most organizations harp on the most, is to eliminate the mistakes. But if you don't make the mistakes, then you never learn from them.
Yeah.
So therefore, give us opportunity to make those mistakes, but build around us so that we learn how to correct those mistakes.
Sweet.
Hey, Jet fans in UK, I hope you guys super excited about me being on, man. I'm excited about being on, and hope I get a chance to see some of these Facebook videos, after we get done talking, and just hearing the comments that you guys have. I really appreciate you guys being up and being on with me at this time.
Yeah, we'll send them to you after.
Have you ever been over to the UK?
Have I ever been over to the UK? Only passed through when I went to Africa in Germany. Only stopped at the airport. Yeah. Yeah, I've been to Germany, but not really actually been in the UK.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Did I go to Amsterdam? I think I was somewhere over there.
That's always a worry when you can't remember if you've been to Amsterdam. That tends to mean you had a good time in Amsterdam.
Definitely there. So,
all right.
if the Jets were to come over in the next couple of years and play an international game again, would you consider coming over?
Oh, absolutely. That's not even the question. I hope they call me and ask me to come over with them.
Amazing.
Dude, that would be so awesome. The Steelers went and played over there when I was actually playing with the Jets. So that kind of sucked that I didn't get a chance to go with them. But yeah, if the Jets go back over and play overseas, absolutely. I'm going to call somebody and ask them, can I come and be a part of that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome. Well, we'll be there waiting, and we'll show you around.
Absolutely.
Who would you say, other than yourself, is the all-time New York Jets wide receiver or Jets player that you would say is your favorite?
Ooh, okay. I got two wide receivers. Two wide receivers.
Okay.
Wes Walker and Jericho Cotchery.
Nice.
Dude.
Okay.
I got a chance to watch Jericho when I was a senior in high school, when he was playing at NC State. That was one of my choices of colleges to go play with Phillip Rivers. So I actually knew a lot about Jericho. But just watching him play and his professionalism, how he came to work every day, man, like that really turned me into a better player, because I was young, coming from Pittsburgh, just full of hype, excited to just play football. But the way I saw Jericho come to practice every day, the way he handled the situation that he had to go through, when all the receivers were coming in, all the receivers were going out, they made all these changes. He's continued to be professional every day, every moment, up until the day he walked out of there. And to me, that's why I think Jericho is definitely one of the greatest Jets. And just the history of Wes Walker, reading the stories and hearing about all the touchdown catches and the big plays he made. I would not take anything away from what's his name? Sunshine. What's our guy? What's our old time receiver? God, you guys put me on the spot right now. I have his book in my room. I can't even think of his name right now. It caught me in the blind spot. What was our old receiver that wrote the book? He lives in New Mexico. Don
Maynard.
Yes, Don Maynard. Yes, yes.
I did not know he wrote a book.
Yes. So I have his book. Obviously, he is by far the Jet of all time in my eye, at the position that I played, because the minute I stepped in the Jets organization, I did as much research as I can on all the receivers, from Wes Welker, not Wes Welker, Corbett, Wayne Corbett, Santana Moss, what's his face? Coles, Coles. Just to be around those guys and having a presence and to know that my name fit well with those guys, that I can consider myself as a legend of the Jets, and not because I won a Super Bowl with Pittsburgh or because I was an MVP getting traded to the Jets. I consider myself that because for scoring 17 touchdowns, I think, in the Jet uniform, was really big. And I hope I go down one day in the Ring of Honor, with the New York Jets. My grandma rooted for the Jets when I was a little kid, and Vinny Testaverde was a quarterback. So kind of had Jet ties, since I was a little kid, and she was super excited to see me get traded to the Jets, because it was one of her favorite teams. So she got a chance to come up and watch me a lot.
Nice.
I can't say anything. You know, the Jets organization has been super awesome to me and to every other player that they've had.
Amazing. It's good to hear like that there are players who have left and still hold like such high regard for a team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is really, really nice to see. I mean, when I was looking over the stats earlier, you're one of the only wide receivers that I know with over 300 receptions for one team, that more than 10% of them were actual touchdown receptions.
And I didn't even play a lot in New York. That was super awesome.
I think it's 360 receptions and 37 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, it should have been more. Should have more touchdowns. But I think with the number, like you said, from catches to production, it's every five catches went for a touchdown, you know. Yeah. And I think those stats really prove how good of a player I could have been had I not got injured in my prime. So, you know, I still have to hold my head up because of the things that I did do. I caught a lot of game-winning touchdowns for the New York Jets, which made me and the team and the organization and our fans super proud. So I was able to do, you know, what I could with the situation that we were faced with. We had great running backs. What can I say? We had LT, we had Sean Green, we had Joe McKnight. Oh my God, we had guys that just ran the ball like crazy. You know, we had good tight ends, Dustin Keller, Kellen Winslow, and we had a group of receivers from Brad Smith, Jericho, Braylon Edwards, myself, you know, Jeremy Curley. Oh my God, the list goes on. You know, I played with some really fun guys, you know, in that locker room.
So what's your best story from playing days? Like, doesn't have to be football related, just something that really sticks with you about the camaraderie of teams and just like hanging out and going out, because obviously it's not as prolific now, but I mean, we're from the Namath team. I mean,
yeah.
That man invented partying.
For the most part, I think just that entire time that we had during the lockout season in 2011, it really brought us all together as a unit. We trained together. We traveled together. We spent so much of our days together throughout that time. And I think that was a good time for us, and it brought our locker room together a lot closer. So I tip my hat off to that lockout season.
Awesome.
So something that I've always wondered and not really seen many other people do in the league, and always intrigued me when I first started watching, and you were on the side. Why did you start wearing the different coloured contact lenses when you were playing? Was that just about psyching yourself up, psyching other people out? What was the reason for that?
During the daytime games, when you get hit, you're almost concussed off of every tackle that you get. So your vision, you know, gets a little blurry. The sunlight becomes a factor. So the color contacts that I wore, they put a tint around the sun. So it didn't allow the sun to affect my vision when I played. So even at night games, if the lights felt too bright during that moment, you better believe I'm going back inside to put my contacts in, because I don't want anything to affect the way I catch a ball, or if my vision gets, you know, impaired by the lights. The contacts took away all the glare from the regular stadium lights to the sun. And it made a glow over what I saw. So therefore the ball was just a black dot coming at me. It was different. It didn't look the same, you know, when I wore my contacts, as if I, you know, didn't have them in. But I definitely wore them because of the sun, and it just helped keep the glare out of my face, and you know, allow me to focus when I'm out in the sun.
And it scared rookies, right?
I'm sorry.
It scared the rookies as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys didn't know what was going on, when they saw me pop out in the stadium with these super red eyes. So, but yeah, they were definitely for the field and just how I perform. I recommend, if anybody could get out and wear them and try them out and see what they're like. If you're an athlete and you play outside in the daytime a lot, I think they'll really work, for an individual if they understand exactly what they're getting themselves into.
Sweet.
Cool.
We had another question from a group member. He said, what specific lessons did the team learn from the 45-3 defeat to the Patriots to enable the playoff victory a month later?
Oh man, that 45-3 beating that we took out there, boy. Oh my goodness. That was not fun at all. I think it was just more so about the attitude that we did not take to the field. Yeah. We didn't come in with the best attitude. We were basically happy to be there. We were showing up. This is just another game. We're in Foxborough. We're gonna play. No, we can't even get the ball 50-yard line. We can't even move the ball 10 yards down the football field. And it's like, this is not New York Jet football. This isn't the way our defense plays. When we went back in and we studied the film, we watched, we really pinpointed on all the mistakes that we made in-house, from the way we practiced, from the way our locker room was, to the way we carried ourselves on the bus rides and the plane rides. All that stuff changed in our locker room, with the attitude of our veteran leaders, such as David. Who else? The Brickishaw. Man, we had guys that were really eager to step up and become leaders, vocally, and I think that's what turned us around.
See, I couldn't bring myself to ask that question. It was just too painful.
It's all good, man. Hey, you win some, you lose some. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day.
True that.
Have any of you guys been to any football game, any games here in the U.S.?
I've been to a game not season just gone, the season before, but it wasn't Jets. It was the Ravens Titans in the divisional game.
Yes.
I went over with some of the guys from the Ravens UK.
Oh, nice. Okay. Awesome.
And I saw the Jets in 2015 at Wembley when they came over to the UK.
Yes, that was the year I went to Chicago.
Yeah.
I think all three of us were at the London game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Had to do.
But yeah, it's hopefully I've got a trip. Well, I had a trip booked for the season just gone to that Raiders game with the All Out Blitz, but that got cancelled next year. So now I've got to wait and see where I end up going next year.
All right, man. I hope I can catch you guys at one of these Jet games. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
definitely.
That would be amazing.
Well, we were going to ask. We've got our own UK merch. So it's one that I'm wearing now, which you can't really see, but it's got Jets UK and Ireland.
Yeah, I see the AJC. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were going to see if you wanted us to get you one made up with SH10. And we'll get it sent over for you.
Did you even really have to ask that question, bro?
The main thing is we need a size, dude.
Medium search for me.
No worries, we'll sort that out for you.
Absolutely.
Kane's obviously been dealing on the email, so we'll get in touch on email to get that over.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any of you guys got any other questions? Or do you have any for us, Antonio, about the UK fans, sport, like NFL in the UK or anything like that?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to ask fans questions. That's true. Well, I don't know.
You mentioned
I've never been on I never really been on the receiving end or the giving end of asking questions. I've always been the one giving, the answer. So
Yeah, I like to flip things around.
it's all good.
You mentioned earlier you had the injury during your prime. I presume you were referring to the Lisfranc's injury in your foot. Did it make a huge difference? Did you feel that it was different when you come back? Did you lose anything?
I hate talking about this injury.
I knew you were going to.
I mean, basically ended my career. It limited me to where I maybe played in 18 games in 3 years, I think, after the injury. It was very disheartening to know that I wasn't going to perform the way I knew how to anymore. And the reason I say that because the minute it happened, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I didn't get angry. I just knew that there was a hole inside my foot. And I could just sit there and just feel something missing inside of my foot, but I could not explain what was missing. It just felt like a hole was in the middle of my foot, but nothing was connected to it. And as I sat there, and I waited and waited, I'm like, yo, why can't I stand up right now? Why I can't lift my leg up? I had no feeling in my foot. Well, that's because one thing I learned that at 57 degrees, if this is my big toe, and if this thing goes back 57 degrees, it's done. So therefore, all the tendons that were connected into my big toe, they snapped inside of my foot. And it didn't hurt. I don't know how it didn't hurt. I don't know why it didn't hurt. But my career was over at that point. And I knew the minute I had to get surgery, the minute they told me that they were going to put a metal plate, the minute they said that they were going to add screws to my foot, I knew that day would come, that I would not play football the same again.
Man, that's for shit.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah, that was tough. But like I said, man, you live to fight another day. And that's why we dare to be great in everything that we do. We live and we learn from our experiences, and we make the best of everything that happens at that point moving forward. No point of harping on it. It has limited me to workouts. I can't get out and run routes anymore. I can't go out in the field and help kids train the way I would like to. And that's for all because of disability reasons. And I wish I could get out and train with these kids and, just really give them the blueprint that was given to me to be successful at this game and at that position.
So you obviously worked very hard to come back from the injury because, as you mentioned, you played post-injury, although, as you mentioned, not really to the same extent that you had previously. What would you say to young players that have had injuries like that or have got injuries and are trying to fight back? What would you say to them?
For any player that is dealing with an injury, whether it's to the knee, to the foot, shoulder, arm, back, take your rehab serious. More importantly, wait till your turn comes up again. Don't rush yourself to get back on the field. Don't let the coaches talk you into telling you that you should feel better, that you should be ready to go by now. Those things don't happen. One thing I've learned is that the body was only built one way. And if you go on your side and you do something to it, whether you tear up a bone, you tear up ligaments, and then someone goes in and cut tissue, skin, and nerves, and then they go in and they replace them and put them back together and expect you to be 100%, they're wrong.
Yeah.
You will not be 100%. You have to train your butt off and gain the confidence that you need to be able to perform at the skill level that you have performed before. And one thing I know, and two for sure, it is not an easy road to go down.
Wow.
Yeah,
Why?
I think this season kind of like solidified it with the amount of major injuries. I mean, I think it was week 2 with San Fran at MetLife. I mean, I've never seen so many knees go in one game.
Yeah, I think it has everything to do with that turf. The field turf is not built to sustain the kind of pressure and the force that we use to stop, change directions, and run and do those things. The grass is what we've grown to know, what our body has grown to accept, and how we interact. We didn't grow up running on field turf. You brought field turf into our play after we were 25, 27 years old.
Yeah.
You've just changed the entire dynamics on what our body is accustomed to satisfying your bottom line, which is $1.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't want to pay groundsmen. You don't want to pay to keep the fields up anymore. You don't want to pay for the grass to be done. All these changes come about because of field turf. But look at the injuries that it has caused. Look at the amount of careers have ended. We didn't have nowhere near this amount of injuries when we had 2-a-day practices, when we were hitting in training camp, and when we wore pads to full practice during the season. All of those privileges have been taken away from the NFL today, to where it is a touch-free league. It is a tag-off league. It is a don't touch him right now. And then when you show up on game day, you're injured. You're hurt because you can't stand someone hitting you. You don't know how that hit is going to feel because for 70, 80 days, you didn't take a hit. And then you show up on game day and you get your bell rung. So your body doesn't know how to react to what's going on at this time. That's what making it so difficult for our NFL players today to survive, is because their body is not adjusted to the fact that they don't get hit until it's game day.
That's really interesting. So I come across 2 years ago my wife and did Route 66 for our honeymoon. And we started off in Chicago, and we actually had the chance to go into Soldier Field and walk the field. And it's grass in Chicago, and we didn't realize it was grass in Chicago. So would you say it's best if all stadiums were to go back to grass like they do in Chicago?
100%. I would agree that every stadium in the NFL should, every stadium in college, every stadium in high school, go back to grass. You guys have put this field turf in to save dollars. You guys put this field turf in, and actually it has ruined more careers, you know what I'm saying, than we had ever planned for.
Why?
They have not really thought about it, like the change going from grass to, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely, man. So many people struggle with that because these kids grow up playing in their backyards and, you know, playing on their outdoor fields, you know, in their hometown, on their little league football fields. And now they're traveling to stadiums playing on turf when they don't know how to play on turf. They just know that, oh, the turf is supposed to be faster. It's supposed to give you a little bit of speed or bounce. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah. Was wondering if you've had any messages for, like, a message for the New York Jets, UK, Ireland fans, or any specific message?
My message to all of our UK Jet fans: continue to keep cheering these guys on. We love you guys from afar, even though we don't get to see you. We don't get to talk to you very often. The cheers, they roar. The way our media team set up our game days or our game nights, when they show our fans in the stadium and our fans across the world, trust me, we get a chance to see you guys cheering for us. So my message to you is to continue cheering for the New York Jets, because we need it. We need it heavily, and just be patient. Be patient with us, you know. It's very tough living in New York and being having to perform in a business that is all about action. And sometimes players get hurt, seasons, you know, fall down. Just be patient with the Jets and give them time. I think they'll rise up again.
We will.
Sweet.
Jet up, baby. Jet up.
You mentioned earlier that while you were with us and went to the championship games back to back, there was some great running backs. I actually thought about it when I come into my man cave earlier. I have LaDainian Tomlinson's jersey just to my right. What was it like playing with LT? Obviously, he'd come across, like yourself, from a very successful franchise. He was already an incredible player when he was coming to us. All kinds of records, all kinds of accolades, like yourself. What was it like playing with LT?
His attitude and professionalism, just hearing his voice when he walked out on the football field to practice every day, you knew you were going to witness him giving, 100% on the football field, that he came to perform. And I think him accepting the fact that him coming to play in New York was just a testament to show that he's willing to sacrifice himself for any team, no matter where they see themselves fitting. His voice, it rung in our locker room, hearing him speak before the games and knowing that we had a soldier that we could trust that was actually going to go to battle, for 60 minutes every game, no matter if he's hurt or not, he was definitely going to give his all. And to be able to play with a Hall of Famer, with LaDainian Tomlinson, I tip my hat to him for his professionalism and the way he helped carry our New York Jet team.
Awesome. Oh, Ken, did you get a question there, or I think it might just be my iPad. Santonio, before obviously we go and everything, we know obviously you've got your foundation. And we were wondering if we were to send some photos to get you to sign that we could auction off, and all of the money raised, we'd like to donate to the foundation. Would that be something that would be cool?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll get some info through the email, and then we'll see if we can get some signed things, and then we'll see how much we can raise, and hopefully it'll be something to make a difference, because we love supporting charities, especially something that affects like the Jet Nation. And obviously you are a big part of that. And we know that the foundation's obviously very, very close to your heart. So yeah, we'd like to try and raise something back for you.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you guys, man. That's super generous of you. I can't thank you guys enough for just even having me on and, wanting to chat with me and allow me to relive, these Jet moments again. It's very special to be able to talk to you guys, from across the globe, and to know that our fan base, it just grows and grows. And it goes to show that everyone thinks that the Jets is a bad organization. I just think we just have bad days. I think it's a great organization. Everybody just have bad days. And this is the time that we're having a bad time. And I think the tide will turn just like they have done in the past.
So Anth mentioned earlier that the person that guessed your doing a Q&A with us today took just under, I think it was 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the lady had a question that she wanted to ask you, which was, how is your son doing? She was aware, obviously, of everything that was going on with your son and the illness, and she wanted to know how your son was doing.
My son is now 18 years old.
Wow.
He's a freshman at Georgia Southwestern University, and he's studying business. His health has been awesome the last 4 years. We've only had one crisis episode where his body went into shock, and we were able to get through it, because his body is starting to grow and accept what he's been going through. But more importantly, he's been taking his medicines every day. He's been staying on top of that, and he understands that if he doesn't take those medicines, that these episodes are going to flare up. And we're still doing, great advocacy work for raising awareness for sickle cell disease. So thank you for asking that question. And, I'll make sure I mention it to him and let him know that someone in the UK was thinking about him. So thank you.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Have you got a question, Anne?
No, I've got through all of mine. Obviously, my big one was just that Kane's got the email address so we can get some things over.
Yep.
And then,
So I would be interested. Obviously, we've talked about the touchdown against the Patriots. Massively special play. I can still remember watching it live now, and you run down the sideline with your arms out. Just lives forever in the memory. What was the greatest moment as a Jet other than that? Because I assume that's probably up there as the sort of top moment. But what was the other greatest moment for you as a Jet?
The one greatest moment as a New York Jet was going back to Pittsburgh and beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. Hey, that was probably one of the highlights of my career as a New York Jet, was to know that I went back into Pittsburgh and we won. I wish we would have won that AFC Championship game to beat the Steelers for the second time and go to the Super Bowl. That would have been super awesome. But definitely playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the New York Jet uniform was probably one of my greatest moments. And I got a chance to score 2 touchdowns against the Steelers too, so can't be mad at that.
Yeah, you turned up big that game. That celebration was ace. They need to bring that back. We need to see Denzel Mims doing that. I know,
right? Like these guys ain't bringing the jet fuel, man. They're not bringing the excitement to the game no more. You know, you're not stealing that from me. That's the Jet wing. That's what all receivers in a Jet uniform should be doing. This wasn't just tone time. This what every Jet receiver who scores touchdowns, this is what they should do every time. Take off, put those feet on the ground, and take flight. Take ownership, man. You guys got to bring the excitement back to the stadium, bring the excitement to the locker room. Y'all got to compete with each other, man, and make that thing fun. That's the way we won when we were in New York. We competed against each other, but more importantly, it was fun to go out and compete with each other.
Do you so actually just mentioned his name and hadn't really thought about asking this question. What did you see from Denzel Mims this year that you liked, and do you think Mims has got the ability to be the number 1 receiver for the Jets?
When you talk about being a number 1 receiver for any organization, you got to understand that you're going to be the main target, not for catching passes. You're going to be the main target for getting shut out of the game. Yeah. So your character has to grow. You have to understand that you may only have 2 or 3 catches in the game and you're the number 1 receiver. You have to understand that you have to go out there and you have to create the mismatch. You have to create the moments that people trust and believe that you're deserving of that number 1 position. More importantly, your performance in practice every day. You have to be the example for every player. You can't be afraid to get up at the front of the line, to be the example to show all the players how to go up and compete against your number 1 defenders in practice every day. As a number 1 receiver, it is your responsibility to make sure your group is ready to go. It's your responsibility to lead those guys out on the field, but lead by example. So if you're willing to step up to be that number 1 receiver, make sure you take responsibility that every player that follows behind your lead, it's your fault if things don't go wrong, if they don't go right, excuse me.
I feel like we need to caption that out and just send it to Denzel on Instagram. Get hyped
But I
up.
think he's going to do good, though. He's going to be all right, man. We just got to find a way to get him the football, you know. I like Crowder. Crowder did some really good things, for us as well. So if we can just keep everybody healthy throughout the season, it sucks that 88, he was one of our big play guys and he had the neck injury. And I just think that just took him down. We were definitely looking for him to be an exciting player for our future. So just got to find that right guy.
I think that the future's definitely looking up in the receiving area. I think Herndon at tight end come on at the end of last year, started to get his confidence back and really show some of that swag that he had in the first year with Sam. Crowder has been exceptional. Sam obviously loves to throw him the ball. You said about building around Sam. I think if you carry on with Sam, you have to keep it Crowder. I think he just loves to throw to him in the slot. He's always open, it seems.
Absolutely.
Mims was good first year, just needed to stay healthy and get on the field, which was interesting. You saying about the turf earlier, that might have been a reason. And there's a lot of chat in the group about bringing in a free agency. A lot of guys like the idea of bringing in Robinson from Chicago. I think Robinson might be the kind of guy that would maybe free up Crowder and Mims a little bit.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a number one receiver. I think the last 2 seasons in Chicago, maybe 3, he put up 1,000 yards on like 70, 80 catches. I think that's pretty impressive for him and playing in that organization. If we can get a player, like him to come to New York, I would be super excited about watching him perform. But like I said, we got to have the right guy throwing the football, and the right guy has to understand that don't be afraid to utilize your number one guy. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that I have seen the New York Jets have in the previous years is that they're not featuring anybody. It can always be about the team, but if you have something to feed off of, I think the team eats a lot more when they have something that they know they can go in with. But when they're going in with their plate empty, they don't know who's going to, be for dinner tonight. We don't know who's going to give us dinner. But if they got somebody to carry something to take to the table, I'm pretty sure we all going to eat real good come Sunday. So if they do find the right receiver to bring in, make sure he's definitely worthy of that number one spot to help out the organization.
Let's hope.
Awesome.
We talked about Rex earlier in your time playing for Rex and the big attitude and the sort of helping the players by being part of that spotlight in New York. And
I'm never going to get that out of my head now.
it really got me thinking about the new hire. Salah has come in, and you're sort of describing Salah when you describe Rex, that sort of big, aggressive, mean, I want to smash people in the face football. I think he's going to come back. Do you think that is the case?
I honestly hope Coach Salem, brings the right attitude to New York. It's definitely been missing since Coach Rex had resigned or got released from the Jets. It's going to be tough being a first-year head coach. A lot of scrutiny, a lot of issues to deal with in the organization, from the players to the media. And I think just being honest with yourself and don't let yourself get too caught up in controlling things. I think if you work with the players, trust them and listen to them, listen to your veteran players and allow them to put the team in the best positions to win. When I got a chance to play with Coach Ryan and that defense, from having Big Cat to Revis to Cromartie to Smitty to Jim Leonard to Dave to BT, Calvin Pace, oh my God, Sione Puwa. We had veterans that knew how to win, that were eager to get somewhere. So if you got a team full of veterans, coach, allow those guys to be your leaders. Give them an opportunity to step foot in front of the team and help the team win ball games. Don't go against your veterans, Yeah.
Nice.
Got any more questions?
I have one more question, I think. What record do you think is possible next year? Where do you see the Jets next year? Are we going to be above 500? Are we going to be just below 500? What are you thinking?
Wow, you put me on the spot, bro. My hopes and aspirations are always to see the New York Jets on the winning end of every season. Lately, that has not been the case, and I don't even know if we had a winning season since 2010. Kind of hurts, since that was the last time I actually got a chance to play in a uniform where I was healthy. and to see the organization, not have success in the winning category over these years. We just got to play harder, guys. You got to dig deep. You got to play harder. You got to want the game. You got to want to win. You got to be professionals about it. You can't lay down. You can't walk out there and let somebody run over you, run through you, run around you. You have to hit people. You have to put them in the ground. You have to be enthused about it. You have to really display your character when it comes down to performing in the New York uniform, because all eyes are on you. And that goes from and it goes to show that you guys are watching all the way in the UK, that people want to stay up and watch the New York Jets perform. We don't want to see losses. We want to see wins. So for this season coming up, man, a 7-9 won't get you in the playoffs in the AFC. So I would definitely be happy with an 8-8 season with the New York Jets. It would definitely show a lot of promise and winning more than 4 games. To just be able to stack another 4 games on top of their schedule as wins. I think that would ultimately set the team in a great place with the new head coach, is that if he can finish at 500, he has great momentum moving forward, you know what I'm saying, for the next few years.
Definitely. I could sit and talk here forever because I'm already thinking about it.
You guys want to see me in my helmet, what I used to look like?
Oh, wow. Is that one of your game worn helmets?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, baby. Let's get it.
Ace.
That's it.
That's amazing.
Nostalgia.
Have you kept lots of sort of mementos of your career then? Have you kept game worn jerseys, game worn helmets, game worn cleats? Have you got sort of all that stuff, or were you a player that give things away to other players, handed out to fans, or what have you kept stuff? What have you got?
I did a lot of for charity. My first couple of years, even with Pittsburgh, my first two years of Pittsburgh, my first 2 years in New York, I gave away all of my cleats and my jerseys for auction. Someone bought them all up, my first 2 years. So now I have a few shoes from the Jets and the Steelers just to have for like special games that I played in, like my first 2 touchdown game with the Steelers and with the Jets. I kept those shoes, the ball, the gloves, the jerseys. I think I had 3 2 touchdown games with the Jets. So I think I kept all of those cleats, but majority of the cleats to other schools. I donated all of my cleats and stuff after the season was over.
Amazing.
But
really cool.
I kept all my jerseys though.
That's really cool. So I traded out a lot of jerseys with players. So I got about 12 to 15 jerseys here in my closet. Nice.
What's your favorite?
What's your favorite?
Yeah.
What's the best jersey that's not yours?
I have a Torrey Hope. I have Hines Ward.
Oh, that one.
I have Juju Smith. I have a Darrell Revis. Who else? Man, Troy Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. I played with him at Ohio State. Nate Washington, he and I traded jerseys. We played with each other, obviously. I think it's quite a few in there.
That's really cool. We all collect signed stuff. You can see some of mine behind me. Ant's got a collection that's massive. There's one of yours up there.
Absolutely. I see it in the background.
Yeah, I've got you. I've got Darrell over on this other wall as well. He's over there, way away from you.
Sure. He deserves to be on the defensive side.
So we talked about the touchdown against the Patriots, best touchdown you scored for us. What was it like going against Darth Vader and TB12 all the time? What was it like going against Belichick and Brady? What was that like?
as an offensive player, you knew that their defense was going to come with some stupid scheme. They were going to let you catch balls, but they just didn't let you score touchdowns. And I think that was one of the most difficult things to understand with the Patriots defense was they would let you catch as many passes or, run the ball as much as you can. And then they just didn't let you score touchdowns. And I think that's one of the things that just frustrated us the most is that it was very hard to score touchdowns against the Patriots. I don't know if they knew our playbook. I don't know if they knew the formations was set up. I don't know if they were watching the coach's lips, if they were calling the plays for us in the huddle. But man, there was some moments where we would step on the football field in the position that they would be in. You would just look to the sideline like, Coach, we still got to run this play versus what they're doing right now, because I don't think this is going to work right now. Their defense was really that good. I think they studied, every aspect of the game, from the way the players lined up, the way that they came out of the huddle, the way their body language was on the football field. He was a mastermind of a coach that probably took every advantage angle that he could possibly take, and that's exactly why it's been proven that the New York Jets was, couldn't beat the Patriots.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's the insight that we were hoping for. So there was just one thing I wanted to ask you to do before we obviously go. Because obviously we're recording this. The live stopped about 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
But can you do the tone time for us in the camera so I can snip it to put it on the page? Like
the arms?
The arms, the stare, and just that meaning behind it of it's tone time.
I don't know if my camera's going to allow me to get the arms all the way in the shot, but I'll try. Hold on. Nope, it won't do it.
That wingspan's too big.
Yeah.
That's great.
It would. Cool. We'll let you go.
Yep. Well,
cool.
Thank you for coming on. Like we say, it was an absolute pleasure. And yeah, we're just happy that you now know that there are a ton of us in the UK and Germany and the rest of Europe that are massive gangreners, and we are fully behind you, the team and everything. And we really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Jet Nation, stand up, man. Play like a Jet, baby. I love all you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. I know our live video stopped, but thank you guys so much for giving me this opportunity and this platform to just share my love for the New York Jets. And like I said before, once a Jet, always a Jet.
Thanks, Tone.
Thank you guys,
so
man.
We'll get the emails
hey,
over.
Otis, thank you guys, man, for having me on. I really appreciate you, man. This has been fun.
Anytime.
Absolutely, man. Get up.
Thank you. See ya.
Yes, sir.